Let me just say a few things about the ambiguous and repressive bills and laws, and which have been passed by our lawmakers of recent. I'm talking about the hate speech bill and also the social media bill that they're about to put out there. You know, repressive laws are hate speeches in their own right. Suffice to say that our political rulers are hanging themselves before the court of public opinion. We tolerate their incompetences, but they can't stand our demand for accountability. Unlike these primitives erroneously stampeded to power, let us couch properly their attempts to gag the citizenry in the most grievous form of hate speeches in the history of our democracy, based on the potential impacts of their unethical, unconscionable, offensive, and inflammatory content. We shouldn't need to be convinced that all the issues we have today are 90% man made. In other words, they are political, in the rabid attempts to weaponize poverty and subjugate the people to a life unfit for cattle. This is the only way the irredentists can rule the huge populace of which 70% are youth. You can't turn the pages of hate without examining the reach of an unconscionable and hateful agenda, weaponized to kill the dissidents, active citizens demanding accountability from those perpetuating themselves in power while ruining the gains of our democracy before this interregnum. The hateful bill was presented on the floor of the Senate with a clear goal of instilling fear in the ambiguity of the bill as a weapon of tyranny in a democracy. It is in their interest to remain unaccountable and deliberately intended to cause harm to others with a death penalty. It is the same thing as the social media bill or what have you. They're just trying to come in through different angles to ensure that freedom of speech is outlawed in our country. The danger itself is in the ambiguity. It can mean anything to suit the people at the helm. It is a weapon of violence towards dissenting voices, and it's meant to put an end to criticism and difference in opinion. Should we allow this to scale through? They clearly don't represent us. Examine our social, economic, and political climate and interrogate the incongruence of this show of shame. Look at the priority, despite the huge failings of government to the people they swore to serve. Will this bill or bills, as the case may be, serve us positively, or is it discriminatory? I ran a short poll out there, and you will be shocked that most people feel this is just anachronistic to the 21st century, to the climate that we live in now. Now let's look at the status of those proliferating this scaremongering. Look at their influence and motives, and you agree this shouldn't be ignored. But their recommendation that others are hanged for exercising their constitutionally backed freedom of expression is discriminatory. For those catastrophizing ignorantly and hypocritically, realize that these sponsors and supporters of the social media bill and the hate speech bill are proponents, you know, and proponents of hate speech agency are indeed guilty of being catalytic to the spread of hate speeches that could lead to conflagration. They want us to be silent just so they can remain comfortable in power without an iota of responsibility. They rig themselves into power with all the possible vices they can mutter, including hate speeches, yet they hope to make our questioning a hate speech. This is a plot fail. So we have just moved from military dictatorship to civilian autocracy. We need to ask real questions. Nigerians need to rise as one. It is time to take back our country.